Welcome to Tech News Today, a podcast about keeping you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. It's Friday, January 11th. I'm Mike James. Coming up in a bit, well, it's all about CES this week. We'll talk about some of Kim's favorites from CES 2019. A scary new Facebook hoax is making the rounds, and your Netflix password sharing days could be over. We'll get started in just a moment. Right now, we'd like to recognize our partners who help make these podcasts possible. We start with CES 2019 in Las Vegas. We've already seen a lot of new and updated tech debuting this week, and Kim has already made a list of some of her favorites, and one of them is a 65-inch 4K smart TV from LG. But it isn't just a run-of-the-mill TV. This one has a screen that rolls down to its base when it's not in use, so it can be out of sight and out of mind anytime you feel like it. It's got plenty of other features too, like Alexa and Google Assistant built right in. It'll be available this spring, but the price hasn't been announced yet. If LG's wallpaper TV from CES 2017 is any indication, get ready to shell out thousands of dollars to get one of these TVs. The next CES pick is definitely much more, well, we'll just say unique when compared to the others being showcased at CES, but it's also much more cuddly. Now, when was the last time you used cuddly to describe tech? The Groove X Lovot robot only wants to do one thing, which is to make you happy. The little robot follows you around, is ticklish, and even waves its arms at you when it wants to be picked up. They're made to brighten your day and keep you company, but they don't like to be lonely, so they're only sold in pairs. They're already available for pre-order in Japan for what comes out to be about, wait for it, $5,500? Holy cow. Oh yeah, $5,500 for a little robot that wants to just hug you. Check out Commando.com on Saturday for more information on this and some of the other picks from CES 2019. And you're going to want to hug that cuddly little robot a little bit tighter with a scary Facebook hoax that's making the rounds once again. So if you've been on Facebook lately, you might have seen a message that says something along the lines of, deadlines approaching and everything you've ever posted, like photos and any other private information, will become public tomorrow. Not a specific day of the week or anything, just tomorrow. So after it scares you into thinking anything private you've ever posted on Facebook is about to be open for everyone to see, the message wants you to copy and then repost it as a way to keep it going. Well, spoiler alert, but this I know you already know because you never miss a day of tech news today, and we've talked about all the Facebook scams before. Obviously, it's not real. In fact, it's not even a new hoax. A similar fake was being passed around Facebook back in 2012, about the time that Facebook had its IPO. So if you do see it, don't fall for it. We've got more information at Commando.com. And by the way, this is how you can tell it's a hoax. In reality, Facebook, of course, has never been great about keeping your information private. Just look at 2018. So if everything you've ever posted does go public one day, chances are you're not going to get a warning or a notice that it's going to happen. Just ahead, if you're still sharing your Netflix password, or any others for that matter, you might want to think twice. Right now, let me tell you about our partners at SimpliSafe Home Security. Now, SimpliSafe is a fantastic security system. With SimpliSafe, there's never any hidden fees or long-term contracts, and because they want everybody to feel safe in their homes, SimpliSafe prices are always honest and fair. Round-the-clock professional monitoring will bring the police anytime there's even the slightest hint of a problem. And there are 6 monitoring centers across the country, which means nothing, not even earthquakes, floods, or tornadoes, will interrupt your protection. SimpliSafe is built for the unexpected, just loaded with safeguards. It keeps working even during local power and Wi-Fi outages. Even if a burglar smashes your keypad, the police will be on their way. Plus, the system is so easy to use. It's incredibly intuitive, and it takes only minutes to set up in your home. Just open the box, plug it in, no drilling, no wires. Order your SimpliSafe system right now at simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. All right, be honest, you've probably at one time or another shared your Netflix password. I have. maybe even your Hulu password or access to another one of your streaming accounts. Well, this should make you step back just a little bit after doing that. Back in the day, your password sharing could just get your streaming account shut down. A tech company out of the UK called Cinemedia just unveiled a new AI system that tracks account sharing so Netflix and others could put an end to it. So let's say Netflix or HBO buys access to this platform. They can use it to scan their subscriber databases and look for anomalies, like how many users should be using a single account. Where are you watching? Whether it's at home or far away. The system will know, and if it thinks you're sharing your password with others, it'll tell Netflix. It might be a simple prod telling you to upgrade your service plan if others are using your account, or they could just shut your account down completely. So it's no secret that streaming services along with movie and TV studios lose a lot of revenue with rampant sharing. And yes, people should pay for their own service, but AI that's looking to track you down comes as a little bit creepy, and some companies are already testing it out. We just don't know yet who those companies are. So if you're using someone's account, you better get your binging in now, especially if you think you've seen every outcome of the Netflix Black Mirror movie, Bandersnatch. If you haven't gotten around to seeing the interactive movie where you can make all the decisions about how the story plays out, and I'm not going to be a spoiler for you, but since it dropped a few days after Christmas, people have been watching it over and over again, and they're trying to see what outcome each decision has. A few of the more involved fans have even created a pie chart or graphs trying to map out the whole story. But just when you thought you had it all figured out, this week, Netflix sent out a cryptic tweet basically saying that you haven't seen everything yet. And they provided a little clue. Now, that's a lot for a movie that already has upwards of 1 trillion possible combinations and 5 different endings. But on Twitter, some decided to run straight back to their TVs to find the missing piece or pieces of the puzzle, while others who spent hours and hours watching it the first time around say it's just too much and they're not watching it anymore. Too many decisions. Yeah, I can agree with that. Well, it seems like there's a smartphone app for everything, even some that try to save your life by identifying medical emergencies and then telling others. Now, here's an experimental app that's being tested, and its goal is to save people from, well, themselves. During the opioid crisis, a lot of people have obviously overdosed. Case in point, and this is really an amazing statistic, in 2017 alone, over 47,000 people died from opioid overdoses in the United States. And often, of course, nobody was around. So these scientists are working on an app that beams sound waves to measure breathing using the phone's built-in speaker and microphone. Then the app would call for help if necessary. It's called Second Chance and would detect early signs of overdoses minutes after people inject drugs into their system, whether it's heroin or something else. Researchers say test results are promising, but the problem is people would have to remember to turn on the app before injecting the drugs. Coming up, astronomers are trying to find the source of a bizarre discovery coming from outer space. But right now, a quick thank you to our friends who help make these podcasts possible. All right, every time you log into your email account, you can see probably for yourself that phishing emails are way out of control. They've been common for years, but now phishing phone calls are picking up steam, and they're getting more advanced. In this case, if it looks like you're getting a call directly from Apple's helpline, you're probably not. But this scam will certainly look real. Phone numbers can be faked. Telemarketers and scammers can easily find and use software to change their number to whatever they want, and caller ID spoofing is nothing new. But this one is harder to recognize as a scam because of a new technique first reported by Brian Krebs, who's a security journalist. Basically, iPhones already come with Apple's helpline pre-programmed into your contact list. Scammers know this, so they'll fake a call using that number. And since it's a number that's already in your contacts, it will not only show Apple's number, but also Apple's name and the Apple logo, just as you would see if they were actually calling you. That's why it looks so real. but Apple says their support department doesn't call people out of the blue. If you see this, don't answer, but if you happen to pick up the phone, obviously don't give out any of your personal information. Simply hang up and call Apple directly if you have a question of whether that call was real or not. And you can also report attempted scams like this through Apple's website. Astronomers who picked up strange radio signals from outer space late last year just published their findings in a new study. So could the signals be coming from extraterrestrials? Well, they were detected by a radio telescope built by Canadian scientists, and the bursts originated from a very distant galaxy, which was 1.5 billion light years away. The signals were very quick, only lasting thousandths of a second. But everyone has their theory. The BBC says it could be the result of two neutron stars merging together, or one neutron star with a strong magnetic field that's spinning very, very fast. And of course, some believe the signals came from an alien spaceship. Whichever theory you believe, it's only the second time a series of these fast radio bursts have been documented. By the way, if you are a space nut, the eclipse is coming in about a week, and we did a special Commando On Demand podcast on the eclipse. We talked to Dr. Andrew Freknoy, who's a specialist on eclipses. We talked to him on the solar eclipse a while back, but this lunar eclipse is coming up. There's actually many other things that are coming up this year, and we also go over some great ways that you can get some apps to watch the eclipse and other events. So that's at commando.com, on podnet.com, or of course your Android or Apple podcast player. Finally, for today's Commando Kicker, it's not a banana in the tailpipe, it's a snake in the air conditioner. It'll make you cringe. Imagine waking up to a tail hanging out of your air conditioner. It did happen to one couple. At first they thought it was a rat's tail, but then they got a little closer and they realized it was something much, much worse, like a tiger snake, which is also considered to be one of the deadliest creatures on the entire planet. So they did contact a reptile relocator. Who knew there was such a thing? Somewhere on the planet there is. Anyway, the reptile relocator soon coaxed the snake out. He explained the tiger snake was probably chasing mice on the roof and was likely in the air conditioning unit the entire night. So if you catch a tail hanging out of an air conditioner, do not try to stick your hand in there to pull it out. For more interesting and fun facts, go to Commando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. That's your tech news today. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.